how to determine if your route is dense enough. What's up, y'all? Today's question comes from Mike Jones. Who? Mike Jones. It comes from Mike Jones, y'all. I had to do something, man. I'm a pretty big Mike Jones fan back in the day. All them Texas rappers, man. I freaking loved all them. Slim Thug, Chamillionaire, Mike Jones. Those are my favorite three. But there were several more that were halfway decent back in the day. Paul Wall. Don't forget about Paul Wall. We got another white rapper, y'all. But I just asked you, Mike Jones. I've never met somebody in real life named Mike Jones. This is great. So his question was, the way he worded his question was very long, so I'm trying to condense it. So basically he's saying, at what point do you say that we have enough route density in this neighborhood to focus our marketing efforts on the next neighborhood or the next part of town or whatever, right? So, and he used, is it 5% of the neighborhood? Is it 10% of the neighborhood? 15, 20%? So this is just strictly an opinion. So please, I'm just giving you my opinion, what my thoughts are on this is I don't necessarily think looking at it as 5% or 10% of the neighborhood is the way to go about it. The way I would go about considering how are we doing as far as route density in this neighborhood is can my truck go there with however many employees are in it? If you have one guy in the truck, which I do actually like one guy in the truck. I didn't do it very often because I thought the safety issues, if the mower flipped, truck wrecked, freaking rock hit him in something. I preferred to not be quite as profitable and have two guys in every truck. But so if you have one guy, two guys, three guys in the truck, right? And let's just say we're doing this for a mowing crew. Route density is really mowing crew and spray, the recurring services, lower dollar amount. Obviously route density, if you're going to one place to do a mulch job that's going to take all day and you go to the other part of town the next day, that doesn't affect route density, right? This is typically we're talking about mowing services when we're talking route density. So the way I would look at this is does my truck go there and stay there all day? that would be my first goal. We go into this neighborhood and we bounce from street to street to street or whatever, and we just mow in that neighborhood all day. That is the epitome of route density to me. Your truck goes to one place, one area, and stays there all day. So instead of looking at how much of the percentage of the neighborhood do we have, did we fill out a whole day's worth of work for the crew in that neighborhood? So they were out on the main roads getting to the neighborhood, they got inside the neighborhood, now they're not really dealing with traffic or anything, and they're just cruising through the stops, and then they're done, and then they drive back to the shop. That's ideal to me. So it would be, get the full day filled out first. And then as you start, if you keep on continuing to pick up clients, then you may want to ramp it up to get book out that second full day. But when it comes to route density, we never got to a point in a single neighborhood that we would not leave that neighborhood. So we had several, the majority of the time, our trucks would go to 2 to 3 neighborhoods in one day. Or mowing trucks. So they'd go to one neighborhood, they'd cut 5 to 10 lawns, they'd go to the next neighborhood, they'd cut 5 to 10 lawns, they'd go to the next neighborhood, they'd cut 5 to 10 lawns. So they would kind of pop out onto a somewhat main road or whatever, but the drive time was drastically less than if they were going from this city to this city to this city throughout the day. So that is how I would look at route density. Book out a day for that crew in that area. So they just have the drive time from the shop to that area, boom, and then back, and they're not out on the main roads, potentially get stuck in traffic, dealing with accidents, blah, blah, blah. So that's the way I would look at it. Book out days for each truck in each area. And don't get so hung up on this neighborhood. If you can just cross the street and be in a new neighborhood, to me, that's just as good. That's just as good. And then he also had a part 2, which I think I didn't know if I could just make a whole video out of it, so I just wanted to put it in this video because it's along the same lines. It's like, how far of an area should you target? So like, you know, you want to get your routes dense, but do you want to have one over here, one over here, one over here, one over here, and there's an hour in between. So this is just going to vary so greatly depending on your area and where your shop is located. So I mean, hands down, no doubt about it, like the most ideal clients are going to be the closest to your shop, because you want to reduce drive time. So if you can get them closer to your shop, the better. So think about that when you are getting your shop. Like when I got my shop, I got it. We could hop on the interstate and go north, south, east, or west on the interstate within 5 minutes. So that is like strategically, that's why I bought my house where I bought my house, because I was running my business out of my house, and then the city kicked my business out of my house. Like, you gotta go. This is getting crazy. What are you doing here? So we just moved the business down the street to the business district, which just happened to be in the neighborhood. It was like a unique little area. So my shop ended up, 90 seconds down the street from my house, and still right there where we could just hop out, be on the interstate, and go north, south, east, or west. But I'd say I would just, rule of thumb, I would not want to drive under like normal traffic conditions more than 15 minutes. Like if you're going and you're not to that first stop in 15 minutes, that's getting a little too far in my opinion. But it just depends on the area. Like some areas are just not as populated, so there's gonna be more drive time. Think about traffic and stuff like that. Like, can you go farther? Maybe you can get like a commercial property that you can get on super early, and then that way you don't have to deal with traffic. You could have the crew come in at 6 that day and be on the property at 6:30, 6:45. They beat all the traffic. They cut this commercial property. Nobody cares. And then they're done with it at 8. And then they go and they hit all the residentials right there. And then you're good to go. You avoided the traffic and all that kind of stuff. So, that's just my thoughts on it. Obviously the closer the better. I think that's kind of a no-brainer. And then just, are there workarounds like I just mentioned? We like always had a commercial property on the first stop of the day. Like if possible, we had a commercial property and we were there early, and we did not deal with traffic in the morning, because it just gets freaking crazy. So that's my thoughts on that. And I hope you found value in it. If you had anything you could add, please leave a comment. Would love to hear everyone's opinion on this. And until the next video, keep making money.